Good morning. It's America's Supermom. It is time for motivation. As I prepare this podcast, it's raining outside. It's a dreary day, but it is a day that I can celebrate because every day is not going to be sunny. Every day is not going to be warm. There may be snow, there may be ice, there may be hurricanes, tornadoes, which can be taking place any part in the world. But the motivation lies within us, it lies within ourselves. It's important to think about managing our priorities, thinking about what are the things that we value, what is important for us to accomplish, what are our goals and aspirations, and what are we going to do every day, daily, to work towards achieving those goals. So it begins with being motivated. First thing in the morning, choosing how you're going to use the energy that you have for each day. So you may have not got a lot of sleep. Your alarm might have went off, and it seems like you just laid down for 5 minutes. But needless to say, you're up, you're ready to go. So how are you going to use that energy? So we think about prioritizing. That's something that we say instead of time management, we say priority management. But what does that look like? How does one achieve that? A quick way is to um, make a list of all the obligations that you have for the day that you might want to accomplish and look at the things that are non negotiable. So, a lot of times, as we are entrepreneurs, we think about the meetings, the calls we want to make, going out there, conducting business, but we fail to realize that if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to have the energy to accomplish everything. So, one of the things that should be a priority is what we eat, what we drink. If we have a busy schedule, what kind of things do we need to add to our day in order for us to have maximum potential of accomplishing everything that we have written down? So if you have a car that has limited amount of gas and you have to go hundreds of miles and the gas you have inside the car now is not going to be enough to sustain you, you're going to have to go to the gas station. You're going to have to refuel in order for you to reach your destination. And that should be how we look at prioritizing our day. If we know that we have a lot going on, we have to factor in the things that are really important. So if I didn't get enough sleep the night before, I recognize that I need sleep, that I need to eat right, that I have to do things that are going to carry me beyond the regular energy level that I'm starting with. So, one of the priorities should be making sure that I have 3 meals a day. Now, this is for, um, on average, for people's metabolism. So, different people may be different. Some people feel like they have to have 3 meals and a couple snacks or whatever the case may be. But just for argument's sake, we're just going to do 3 meals a day. So, you're going to factor in what are those meals? What time are you going to have them? How are you going to make sure that they're the priority first thing in the day so that you can accomplish all that you have to accomplish? What are some things that you can do in between meals? Should you be drinking water? Maybe hot tea? Different things that you can do that will relax you, that will give you the energy, that will spark creativity, whatever it is that you really are desiring for that day in terms of big chunk priorities with your job or your business. You want to carve out different things that you can do energy wise that can move the needle forward in those areas. The next thing is sleep. So, in the event that you didn't get enough sleep, where is some time that you can carve out a power nap um, some point in the day? You know, Even if it's just laying your head down on your desk for about 15 minutes or so, where are you going to put that in your day? It is amazing how just me, I'm going to tell you, being a mother of 15 and juggling cooking and taking kids back and forth to practice and just to school and making sure they have their homework done and all these different obligations that I have just on a daily basis around my home, which doesn't even include um, my coaching or different content strategies that I have for the platforms that I'm on, dealing with things with my spouse, with being married and certain things that we need to do for the ministry because my husband's a pastor. So there's just a number of things that could be going on. So one of the things you want to be mindful of is making sure that you have enough energy to do that. And I'm speaking from experience as someone who has overcome depression and anxiety to the point of hospitalization. I recognize the need for making sure that you get enough rest. So carving out some time to take a power nap, can leave you really energized and give you the energy that you have uh, or need for the day's um, obligations. The next thing is thinking about what is important to you. What is going to move the needle forward? So you may have 7 things on your to do list of things for your business, which is ideal. However, we may not be able to accomplish everything for whatever reason. There could be time constraints. Maybe you got called to school because your child is sick, or you have to take them to the doctor, or something's going on with you. You have to go to the doctor. Um, Something goes on with your internet, your computer, whatever. All these different things can take place. So it's important to look at ranking the order of the things that you need to get done and giving yourself some grace if you don't accomplish everything. So, having a list of priorities of things that you want to accomplish, that's the ideal. So many of us who are moms, we understand that ideally we want to do this, that with our kids, but, or, when it comes to meal prep or whatever, but under different circumstances, we learn that we have to make modifications for whatever reason. And so it's up to you based on your priorities to think about what are some non negotiables in this list that, regardless, I know that I have to accomplish this on a daily basis. So if you have a radio show, for example, and your radio show debuts every day. Now that's a non-negotiable. You have no option on something that's done on a regular schedule that needs to be done daily. Okay. Now there are events where things happen outside of your control, so it's not that you're so deadlocked into certain things being done, but when it comes to your brand or how people see you in the industry, it's important that you're consistent in maintaining whatever schedule that you start. So you have to empower yourself to recognize that regardless of anything that's going on, this has got to be done every day. And then you work down your list accordingly. What are some things that, will cause me to get more behind or not be able to deliver my element of consistency or whatever the case may be if I don't take part of doing something in these areas on a daily basis or at a minimum of 3 days a week or 4 days, whatever the case may be. So it's very important for you to kind of really take that time to look and focus on things in your business and find out what are some things that really need to be done regularly. What are some things that need to be done daily? What are some things that need to be done weekly? Okay, so just thinking about how you're going to maintain this level of consistency when it comes to your work, how you address your clients, what do you do with your home life, what are some chores that have to be done, in addition to your work schedule. So just different things like that. Once you begin to kind of take the time to reflect in those areas, it will help you have more of a sense of accomplishment because you will find that you will be spending your time and prioritizing for the things that are moving you forward. So this is a situation where it's not just about doing things just so that we're not stagnant, but it's about doing the right things that will move us forward. And when you prioritize and you have a list of things that are non negotiable, you will find that it may not have to be you that can do some of these things. And you begin to delegate some of these tasks to personal assistants, or maybe you have children that can help incorporate a routine that can get some of these things done for you. For example, let's say that you are adamant about laying your clothes out the night before. Well, maybe you would like your clothes ironed, but you don't always have the time available to iron. So you could have one of your children iron, or it could be something that you could get a mother's helper, or you can get a part time assistant just for your home, a mother's helper, or whatever the case may be, in order for you to accomplish some of the things that you need done. So, priorities really help us begin to set a pattern, put things in balance in a way that's more meaningful. So, just want to piggyback really quick on the idea of laying your clothes out the night before. So, if you have a routine of laying your clothes out the night before, whenever you interact with your children or people that depend on you and are responsible for certain things taking place on a daily basis, that will prompt you to empower them to be responsible for themselves the night before. So I know this is really a routine that has really helped us with our children. We have 7 of them that have to get ready in the mornings, and having the element of them having their clothes laid out, what shoes they're wearing the night before has really saved us in so many different occasions. But it's the mindset of thinking that if I have to do it for myself, then I can empower my children to do the same thing for themselves, which makes things run a lot smoother, not just for me, but for them as well. So, making sure that as you list what your priorities are, that you begin to think about how you can create a system around these priorities. Because if these are non negotiables, you will be able to figure that, hey, these are some things that I have to make sure that I accomplish in order for my day to run smoothly, my week or month or whatever. Also, they have to be taken care of in order to determine what my income is. So if you want to be earning 6 figures, you recognize that in order to do that, you have to maintain a certain level of customers. You have to have so many leads that are in your queue that you can follow up with in order to maintain a certain um, sales average, because people are just not going to call you up out of the blue and just want to do business with you. It's about you getting out there, creating those relationships, and being in a position to where you can reap the harvest, so to speak. So if you're maintaining a certain level of income, it's up to you to make sure that you do the elements that go into making that income possible. So just to recap really quick, if you are unsure about what your priorities are, the first thing you need to do is think about what are your values? What are things that you have to have that are non negotiable? If you have to go to work because you need a certain income in order to maintain a certain lifestyle, that will allow you to prioritize things around your work schedule. You'll be able to carve out that time and recognize You're not going to spend your day wishing that there was something different. You know from the very beginning that this is something that you need to do. It's non-negotiable, and you can begin to carve out how can you make that non-negotiable more manageable? How can you make it fun? How can you be creative? How can you add some depth to your brand? How can you stand out? So once we know our priorities and our values, it allows us to really take control and embrace the things that we need in order to accomplish the goals that we have set for ourselves. And so this is where the ability to be um, unique, to stand out, to unite with people that are like minded with the non negotiables that you have, because you can uh, get with one another and brainstorm and come up with creative ways that you can accomplish whatever mission it is that you need to accomplish in a way that serves you, that makes that particular task or role easier as you go about doing your business on a daily basis. You also can get with people and find creative ways to blend not just your business but your family. So, for example, over the weekend, I had an event that I had to go to. It was a teen event for young adults, and I was able to bring some of my children, which allowed me to blend, uh, still pushing forward with my brand and recognizing what I can add in terms of value to this event, but I also can incorporate being a mom and doing what I do for my kids and allowing them to feel like they're a part of my mission as brand awareness, getting out in the community, but also building a deeper relationship with them by including them in the work that I have. So these are just a few examples and a few tips on how you can prioritize and how you can make the most of your days that you have to do your business, manage your home life, and relationships. So that's all I have for today. I wish you guys a wonderful, productive week. And just take some time, even if it's 10 minutes, just to prioritize. A lot of times stress and anxiety comes from not having a plan, from feeling like you're tossed to and fro based on somebody else's emergency. And you're not in a place to where you are taking the time to consciously think about what it is that you want to accomplish and what's going to allow you the satisfaction to move the needle forward. I know sometimes there's days that I just am like, if my kitchen is not clean, I just don't feel accomplished. So that's something that's a priority. Or if I don't have my laundry done to a level to where, I have a lot of options for certain things that I want to think about wearing, then I'm not fulfilled. So begin to take that time to inner reflect and think about what is it that matters to you. For some people, it could be they have to have their meals laid out in advance so that they can make better choices when they eat, whatever it is. Find out what works for you, stand true to it, and find ways to manipulate having those different things fulfilled in your day so that you can have a more fulfilled day, which leads to a more fulfilled life. So that's all I have. You guys have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye.